Welcome back. We're talking about the ongoing unrest and political uncertainties in Egypt. And joining us in Washington is Hesham Islam. He served as a special assistant to the Deputy Secretary of Defense during the Bush administration. And joining us from Minneapolis, Dr. Abdul Mawgoud Dardery. He's a member of the Muslim Brotherhood and a former senator in Egypt's now dissolved parliament. Dr. Dardery, why don't I start with you? We had a guest on earlier who said that the Muslim Brotherhood actually came to power on the backs of the revolutionaries, and then once in power, turned their backs on the revolutionaries. What about these charges that Morsi kind of took on the persona of Mubarak? What would you say to those who continue to say that?
That is very much misunderstanding of democracy. The Freedom and Justice Party that I am a member of did not come on the back of the revolution, participated in the revolution, created the atmosphere for the revolution, and moved on with the revolution to move from revolutionary status into a parliamentary status, democratic process. We won the election. The President Morsi became the president by the ballot box. Anyone try to give a mischaracterization of what happened in Egypt is trying to justify the coup. The coup is a crime against democracy in Egypt. The Freedom and Justice Party believed in democracy, practiced democracy when they're democratic. It is an insult to the Egyptian people to name it any other way. The Egyptian people participated in the democratic process, elected President Morsi, elected the Freedom and Justice Party in the parliament, which I was a member proudly of the Egyptian parliament. First time ever, we had free and fair election. We came to power through elections, sir, through the ballot box. Now the military is trying to put bullets instead of ballots. We are resisting this. We will continue to resist this peacefully until democracy is back. We believe in democracy. Whatever the people of Egypt decide, we'll be happy to live with. Egyptians elect us, we will be happy to serve them.
All right. Well, let me get Hesham into this conversation. President Morsi was elected. He's making this point. You used to work at the Pentagon. Is it right for the military to take control?
Well, first, I want to say thank you for having me here today, and good afternoon to you, Doctor. I would say the ground rule is we could disagree in this interview, but at the end of the day, we could be friends in this country. With that said,
we are friends from now on.
Great.
That's settled. Great.
Well, with that said, I would give my perspective from an American or Egyptian-American perspective as a person who was born in Egypt. So I'm an Egyptian by birth and American by choice. And from my perspective here, what the doctor had mentioned to a certain extent was true. The fact is there was a revolution. The fact is the Muslim Brotherhood came to power through a democratic elected process. I'm not sure how pure or how effective was the process. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, when they counted the votes, they said the Muslim Brotherhood won over the other competitors. I would say that what happened after that is what led to where Egypt is today. What happened after that is the fact that President Morsi at that time had taken courses that was distant himself completely from the people who voted him in power. Moreover, he governed the country with people may not be very qualified for the positions, so he was surrounded by a group of advisors who may not be the most qualified people to help him lead a 90 million person country to the future. And that what led another group of people to say enough is enough and we need to change that.
Well, let me ask about the Constitution, because it was voted overwhelmingly in favor, and yet you look at the millions who stayed away from voting, and I see you smiling, Dr. Dardery. Some of them, yes. Some of the young people who stayed away say that this Constitution is soaked in blood. How do you get them back involved in this process? It seems like this is such a fractured government right now. How does Egypt move forward?
You see, sir, I do accept, let us for the sake of argument accept the premise of Dr. Hesham that President Morsi made mistakes or the advisors made mistakes. In a democracy, when President Obama makes a mistake, we don't kidnap President Obama, dissolve the Congress, and suspend the constitution and kill thousands of people and imprisoned more than 20,000 political prisoners. This is not democracy. This is a gang trying to take over the country of Egypt and put an end to the democratic process. In a democracy, Dr. Hesham, people make mistakes. How do we punish them? In the next election, we vote them in or vote them out. This is what we want for Egypt. Now, concerning the constitution, to your question, sir, yes, it was overwhelmingly supported by the 15% of the Egyptians who support the coup. The coup is not democratic. There is no way, Dr. Hesham, anyone can convince me that the coup is justified against democracy. Democracy is for all Egyptians. The coup represents few Egyptians, no doubt about it. There are some people who are angry with the Muslim Brotherhood or angry with Dr. Morsi. I respect them. I salute them. I say, wait until the next election and vote them out. You voted me in as a member of parliament. Please don't vote for me again if I make mistakes, but don't kill me.
All right, let's allow him to jump back into the conversation.
I would like to say that you're absolutely right from the perspective that if President Obama made mistakes, there would be a process to remove him from power if it required. Unfortunately, Egypt doesn't have that vehicle to make such action take place. So you know very well that it was impossible to remove a president of any Arab country on a peaceful process, not alone Egypt. So what happened in Egypt is probably, from an Egyptian perspective, was expected. Now, I refuse to refer to the action that was taken by General then Sisi as a coup, just to the fact that my country, United States of America, officially did not refer to this action as a coup. That said, I would say that from what I understand and based on what was appeared in the media, that the actions were taken based on the request of the people of Egypt, and they needed someone in the capacity of the leader of the Egyptian army to remove or to change the system.
Well, you talked about General Sisi, and I want both of you to kind of comment on this. When you look at Egypt in its most recent past, you look at Nasser, you look at Sadat, you look at Mubarak, they all came through the military, and this whole revolution was to foist Egypt into the future. And now, as you look at it, with El-Sisi on the precipice of actually becoming the next leader, it looks a lot like the past and not the future. So, Dr. Dardery, after all of this lost blood, lost treasure, clearly this is not the vision the people in Tahrir Square had of Egypt moving forward, is it?
Never, sir, never. We will never accept the military or the police state to come back. The Egyptian people, all those, the free people of Egypt who would like to live in a democracy, will continue resisting this. Let me, if you don't mind, state the record clear here with Dr. Hesham. Maybe Mr. Hesham was away from Egypt for so long, and he does not know that the revolution produced a process by which we can either impeach the president or move him out of office. It's called democracy, sir, through the democratic process. We wanted to have a parliamentary election, and only the parliament can remove the president. The military did not want the election to take place. The judiciary did not want the election to take place. And also some liberal opposition parties did not want the democracy. Because the people of Egypt, once they're given the chance to vote, they know whom to vote for. Why didn't we allow the parliamentary election? Sir, whatever the reasons are, whatever the mistakes are, President Morsi did not imprison one political prisoner all his first year, and did not allow any Egyptians to be killed. Compare now, calling the military back. Look at the record. 60 years of military rule in Egypt. What did it produce? It produced a revolution against the system. We succeeded as Egyptians to bring down the head of the system, which was President Mubarak. Now Mr. Sisi is trying to take the place of Mr. Mubarak and bring the whole system back again. Egyptians will peacefully resist this, and we insist we will never accept military dictatorship, a police state. We want democracy, and I call upon all those who love freedom and democracy and rule of law and human rights to support the struggle of Egyptians to bring democracy back.
Let's hold it right there because I want to get Hesham back into the conversation. A veteran columnist in Egypt wrote recently, everything left now is to the army and the police. There is no politics in Egypt. Is that a fair characterization, or is that oversimplifying things?
Not really. It's a perspective, the view of that author who wrote that particular article. Now, I do agree with what you just said previously, as far as if you look at Nasser, Sadat, Mubarak, they all are military officers, former military officers. Now you have Field Marshal Sisi, that if he taken the chair as well, he will be bringing the military back in. But let's not overlook the overall picture of Egypt. Egypt is 7,000-year-old country. Yet in reality, it was governed by Egyptians since 1952, the revolution. And when it was governed since then, it was governed by military people. Now, if you look at our country always governed by non-military people. In fact, George Washington, when he was offered to be a king, he said, no, I don't want it. Well, if Field Marshal Sisi rejects the position and doesn't want to take the power, then you're not going to have a military guy. But till today, Field Marshal Sisi did not publicly announce that he's running for that chair. So let's not overcome the events. Let's see if he's going to run for it. And then there is an election process and whether the people of Egypt will vote for him.
All right. Well, let me, Dr. Dardery, we're just about out of time. Optimistic about Egypt's future, or are you pessimistic?
No, I am very optimistic about the future of the people of Egypt. The free people of Egypt, the people who resist slavery, who resist colonialism, who resist oppression and tyranny, will bring democracy back to the people of Egypt. I'm very optimistic about the future. It is a process by which we have to win democracy back, rule of law, human rights. There are 4 principles of the revolution, and we need them back. Economic prosperity, freedom, social justice, and human dignity. I call upon Mr. Hesham and everyone else to support democracy, not dictatorship, and not the military, not the police state. We want to live free. It is our right. Americans taught us, give me liberty or give me death, now or never. And this is what we want.
All right, well, we're going to, gentlemen, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. We've run out of time, but it was a spirited conversation. I want to thank both of you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
That's it for this edition of The Heat. As always, we'd love to hear from you. So email us your questions, comments, or suggestions. You can send them to theheat@cctv-america.com. And if you want to catch any of our programs online, please log on to cctv-america.com. I'm Mike Walter in Washington, D.C. Thanks so much for watching.